We're just leaving Port Limoni. It's on the western side of the Mani Peninsula, and there's this deep ravine over there that's we didn't get to go over and check it out, but it seems like it's a very agriculture focused place. More green than we had seen for quite some time, actually. These developments here below the cliffs intrigue me. It's an interesting backdrop for a house. Port Limoni was really active, lots of stuff going on, lots of water sports. People were in the water enjoying things until very late into the evening, even beyond sunset, so it was great to see. We are heading off in the haze. This area is so hazy. We're only going 20 miles and the land is straight ahead of us, but you would never know it. We could see it last night in a sort of silhouette as the sun set over the land in this direction. So we're heading to a place called Koroni, and we'll check that out. So when I first looked at this on AIS, I saw just one boat there. But then as I zoomed out, I could see 3 boats there. It looked like it was a really wide boat on the horizon, but then it just looked to be too wide to be one boat. So I came in and I looked at each one of them on AIS and got the data and realized it was restricted maneuverability for its status, and realized that it was probably doing some kind of a fuel offloading or fuel transfer between the 2 ships. So looking at it out there, you can see one ship is a lot wider than the other, the one from here on the right, and there's some booms up like maybe they're holding cables between the 2, and there's another boat off to the right and behind, and that is a tugboat. It's a 42-meter tugboat. Kalamata is a town up at the head of the Gulf, and it is a very heavily used port for a lot of commercial stuff, and it appears as though a lot of petroleum products go in and out of Kalamata. So anyway, we're about halfway across the Gulf here. Very calm day. We're just motoring along, and we have all of like 3 knots of wind on our nose. So in an area that is known for pretty heavy wind, we are getting a stretch of days that are pretty darn mellow. So we are approaching Koroni and just finishing crossing the Gulf of Messiniakos. So we're at sort of the final peninsula, the third, heading westbound, the third peninsula that stretches down in the Peloponnesos. And this is the fortification that you can see from the seaside of Koroni. It's supposed to have a neat monastery up in the fort walls. I guess this was mostly built by Venetians, so there'll be some neat Venetian architecture. But it looks like a cool place. We're going to probably anchor outside one of the breakwaters, and again, you can see how much greener it is just in the last few days that we've transitioned west. We remembered some of the Ionian Islands had a lot more green to them, a lot more deciduous trees, pine trees. So yeah, I guess we're moving back into the greener terrain. Hi, I'm Karen, and my husband is Tom. Welcome to Life 4.0, where we share our experiences of living aboard Sea Rose, our 44-foot sailboat, while we travel together to new and exciting destinations. There is only one go at this thing called life. Make the most of it. After we were securely anchored off Koroni's waterfront, we headed out in our dinghy to explore the less developed areas just west of the town. We discovered these cliffside coves and stopped in one that was particularly appealing. The day was calm and therefore very hot, so we floated around on our swim noodles and enjoyed the cove that we had all to ourselves. When things opened up again, after the day's siesta, we went ashore to explore the town and castle. Koroni is the first of 2 towns we visit during this episode that each have very substantial Venetian fortifications. Notice everything that is contained inside the walls of these castle grounds. There are orchards of several fruits, a church, some homes, and even a cemetery. If the inhabitants were subjected to a period of siege, they could hold up here for quite some time. The lovely town of Koroni climbs from the protected seaside harbor up to and along the hill's ridgeline, and it seems all roads lead toward the water and the castle. Listen to the ever-present sound of the cicadas, certainly a sound I have solidly associated in my mind with the Greek countryside. These beautifully shaped olive trees fill much of the grounds inside the fortress walls. We're at the St. John the Baptist Monastery that's up in the fortress of this town, Koroni. The monastery was built in 1920, so it's not all that old, but it's still in use, and the grounds are just really beautiful. This is really pretty here. Lime tree. Oh, it's really fragrant in here. There's a fig tree over there. Another lime tree. It's just pretty. Wonder what this tree is. It has these little itty bitty things. I guess it could be like key limes or something. Lots of limes. The grounds keep stretching back in, and I suspect some of these places must be their residence. More orchards. Here's a olive tree. More limes. Maybe that may be oranges. I have a neat lookout up there. Wow, this is neat. So I'm up on the roof of this structure. It looks like they have a whole bunch of little residences built around in and amongst all of the fortification. This vineyard's lovely. They have a lot of agriculture here. A whole area of lime and other citrus trees, olive trees. It's really beautiful, and we're anchored down below there, town of Koroni. This is the Gulf where Kalamata's at the head of it, and there's the Mani Mountains across the way on the Mani Peninsula. And tomorrow we'll sail around here and head out in that direction. Lovely. Dusk in Koroni, and the castle is all lit up lovely. This end of the castle is the area where the monastery is. Lots of people having dinner. It's a very pretty night with all the lights and the pretty waterfront and reflections on the water of all the lights. It's very pretty.
Coming into Methoni, and it's got a great castle here. We also have this other sailboat coming in about the same time, so this should be a little exciting.
Alright, we're at Methoni, the other one of the Venetian ports. It was called the Eyes of the Republic. And supposedly along this one there's all these carved lion symbols, and they had a moat on the land side of this castle that they could open up and fill up with water to keep people out of the castle. So we're gonna go check it out. On the other three sides it's all water, so impressive structure. Here's more of the moat here, which is a pretty crazy area. I guess this is pretty well lit up at night. It's supposed to be really nice. Alright, standing on the highest point here of this castle. You can see the moat going all the way around. That's where we walked in over there. A bunch of boats anchored out. Sea Rose is roughly in the center. Standing on seems to be about 4 stories of structure that go down. Don't jump! So this fort's had a lot of restoration. You can see there's lots of stuff that's new and old and, you know, very new. They rebuilt these archways supposedly in the way that they had been built. Methoni and Koroni are part of the Messenia region, located in the southwest corner of Peloponnesos. These magnificent castles were constructed by Venetians during their rule, which lasted from 1207 to 1500 AD. According to the GreeceIS.com website, these castles flourished during this period and became important stops for merchant ships traveling west to east and for pilgrims heading to the Holy Land. During Venice's rule, these two fortifications were known as the Eyes of the Republic, since much of the commerce of the day passed by one or both of these. I will provide links in the video description to several articles I used while researching these settlements and their fortifications. So here we are leaving this one side of the castle, and you can look over here and there's this slot that maybe a drawbridge was set down into. It's in between this inner arch and the outer arch here. And the slots on both sides. It's pretty cool. So you can imagine what was here a long time ago. We thoroughly enjoyed our time in both Koroni and Methoni. I often envy people who can live a bustling modern life amidst these centuries-old structures and their connection to history. It must give you an immense sense of place to call a town such as these home. There are these odd-shaped domed things in the center of this castle. We're trying to figure out what they are. So there's this outside sort of long dome, and then 3 inner domes. And it's not obvious what they are. Take a picture from the outside. Oblong one. There's these domes up here. Hard to say. So Tom just said they were Ottoman baths. So I guess that would explain it a little bit, why it's subterranean. A little bit. And then, yeah. Maybe this is the outer area. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, I can see that. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos. And the great thing about this anchorage is the sun sets right over the fortress. So we're gonna watch that tonight. And after the sun sets, we're gonna go in and have dinner in the town over there. So this should be fun. It should be beautiful to watch the sunset and basically create a silhouette of this amazing fortress that stretches from there all the way over to there. Join us next time as we continue our journey north toward the famous Greek Ionian Islands. First, though, we have one final destination on the Peloponnese Peninsula. Don't miss our time in the incredible bay of Navarino, anchored on the southwest by the port town of Pylos. Thanks for watching. We're at the northern end of Navarino. There's a lagoon over there. And we're in this bay, saltwater bay, and we're hiking up to the top of the hill where there's an old castle.